Welcome everyone to the second recording from BMC Communities. I would like to introduce again myself firstly, Samantha Amond, Senior Customer Success Manager. And today in the Hangout we have Mike Jones. He's an architect from the Global Tooling Tower. Hello. And then we've also this time got to introduce Bill Robinson, who is one of our principal product developers working for customer engineering. Hello, Bill.
Hi.
Hello. And then we have Matt Lancero again, who's also joining us from BMC Communities.
Hello. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. And what we're going to be talking about today, last time we were discussing how to set up your profile, and today we're going to talk about the search mechanism and how to get the best out of product pages and also search facilities. So without further ado, Mike, if you would mind sharing your screen again.
So hopefully you can see that and not hear the lawnmower outside Bill's window. Right. So share the screen on the main communities page.
That's great.
So this is the starting point for BMC Communities, really, and it's the main link to all of the products that are on BMC Communities. I think as we showed last time, if you click on there, every BMC product is available with its own community. So when you're at the main page, if you type a search into this box, it will search all of the communities for that term.
Okay, so let's give an example. I know that you're a Blade Logic enthusiast and something that you work closely with. So, for example, let's have a look at some of the user groups that you may have found that you've connected yourself to.
Yeah, so I could search for a particular, let's say, term or problem I'm working on with BMC server automation. You can do an awful lot in the command line. Now, this will bring a lot of results back. But if I do BLCLI, let's see if there's one for a scheduled job, there might or might not be anything for this. So here it says how to create schedules with BLCLI. I mean, it's and it also here highlights the best practices document. Best practices for using BLCLI. So I can click on that particular search that I was looking for, and here you have a post that was created by someone and it started with someone. Does anyone know how to schedule jobs using BLCLI? And you can see all the responses underneath.
And obviously what we'll do is we'll show via the product page where all this information is stored at a later stage. I think I'd like to ask Matt just to sort of interject here with regards to the search facilities. I know it's very advanced because it's with Google. Have you got any other type of advice or best practice that you would recommend around the search facilities?
So the search capability is like native within BMC Communities. So obviously, if you go on Google and search anything on Google, like BLCLI tips, you will find a lot of items from BMC Communities. So if we are on BMC Communities and we search keywords in the search field, it either goes platform-wide and says, okay, in all the communities and groups and everything, this is what I find. These content, like document, discussions, blog, these people, people who are tagged with BLCLI, and also these communities and groups. So it will display all those things for you so that you can make progress in your search.
Okay.
And I think we demoed last time that when you search, it also tells you, I can narrow down the search to the current community should you want to. So
I think, can we go, Mike, could we go back to the search screen just so we can show on there, you can search back to the main page before we go into specific topics. You can search basically people, content, forums, groups. So I think for the benefit of today's recording, can we show how you can find user groups? So I guess an example would be a Blade Logic one for Mike, because obviously you're under server automation, how you find user groups.
Yeah, or rather, I think as Matt said, you can restrict your search to certain products. So if you go under the product page, and this is the way that I go to the user groups, is to actually go down and choose the product.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I haven't used the search to find a product. I can try it now actually. So if I did server automation, would it actually list the user groups?
There's different groups. You can do it under user groups. But as we're, sorry, go on, Matt.
Here with the search, he sees content, people, and if he scrolls down, he must also see places, the server automation community, some server automation customer advisory program. So all these things are one click away right here.
So obviously if you haven't already set up user groups, they'll be under there. You've got to be quite specific for types of searching that you're looking for. Otherwise, as Matt's pointed out to me in the past, you will find a lot of information. So the more specific you are, the better the search is. And then once you find the user groups, you can either connect to them via there, or there is actually a separate tab, if you have a look, Mike, at the top, that says user groups, and those ones are related to customers. So you might find that there's one that you want to connect to that's there. For example, there's BMC Engage, any sort of topics that we're trying to present or promote, they'll also be under there as well, up at the top, if you can see, where it says user groups. And then if you can't find any that are being promoted there, then you can type it into the search button, which is what you've done for server automation. But I think as we're on the server automation page at the moment, this is probably the most appropriate. And just to bear in mind for anyone else that's listening, if you've got other products, as Mike's pointed out to you, you can find exactly the same pages for your specific product that's broken down. If you get any problems, there is an ask a question. You can find that out or go under social help, where Matt and the rest of the team can help direct you accordingly. So I think with this page, Mike, if you want to just describe how you use it, and then I will ask for Bill just to explain, because he is one of the popular people on this page that does present a lot of information back and helps with some of the content. We can just show some examples.
Okay, so my main uses of BMC Communities are to ask a specific question, but so if I've got a problem doing something, I may say, has anyone come across this before? How do you do this? A bit like the BLCLI, how do I add schedules, or how do I do this? But I would normally search first, because quite often someone has already come across this problem or posted an article previously. The other main area that I use communities for is to post ideas. So these are the ones, you post an idea, it's voted on by other members of the community, and is then reviewed by product management.
Which is something that we'll talk about in the next recording that we do around ideas. But if we go back to obviously the content of the page, some of the functionality that we've got on there.
Yeah, so if you scroll down slightly, here you'll see the recent activity as it comes in. So you'll see every time someone posts a question, responds to an existing question, it appears on here.
And sorry, go on, Matt.
Yeah, Mike, you said like asking discussion is a great way to begin with. So if we go back at the top, can you make a live demo here in the Ask Server Automation top right widget? Can you please type BLCLI and whatever keywords I'm not familiar with?
Okay, so BLCLI delete jobs.
So see that the system tells you there are a couple of discussions already including these keywords. So you may want to jump on this discussion or ask a new question.
And then we'll get Bill to reply.
Okay, can you see that here? For you
Yeah, yeah.
users, just typing the first keywords, obviously focused keywords, in the Ask widget enables to leverage existing content or to ask a new question.
Okay. So if you click on the Ask It, you can then ask the question. I'm not sure I want to post. Is there a BLCLI to delete a job?
Shall we also show how you can mention Bill? So let's do this as a specific post to Bill. So if you write some content, I'm not sure what you want to write technically. Let's get clever here.
Are you sure you want to spam Bill?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to spam communities really. I could post an issue we've got at the moment that I have been working with Bill on. So let's do great.
And that's a real live demo with real data. With real topic you work on, Mike.
Yeah. This is
and you have big visibility today.
So I'm going to mention Bill here.
Robinson, if you type, there he is. If you type in the surname, this is the other thing, we'll give you a bit of a tip. If you type in the surname first, if you can't always find the person, then what you can do is an underscore, and it will pick it up. So if you go back to Rob, it comes back. You've got to go a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I normally do actually.
Oh, you can do Bill. There is quite a few options that you can do. That won't actually. There he is. I was going to say you've got options, and then you can also mention multiple people.
So if you like, I can post this.
If you post it.
By the way, we don't want everybody to mention Bill or force a question to somebody. A community is about any member helping each other. So here, just for the sake of the demo, Bill was mentioned, but
because typically what would happen is if you posted it out onto the community site, it would go to everybody, as Matt was mentioning. But for this benefit, it is just going to go to Bill or
this is on the main site. This is everyone, but I've mentioned Bill. So here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is by far what users do the most: asking questions, replying to questions from others.
Yeah, and you do get a lot of responses on communities, and Bill, I'm surprised he's got any time to do anything else because he's replying so often on communities.
One day he will share it.
That's the benefit of automation. You have a lot of downtime.
He's a marketing guy. He's not engineering.
Not really. So should we, for the benefit of that particular post, maybe if we look down at one that Bill has responded to, because obviously we've only just posted it, maybe show some examples of where responses have come back in the middle, where the recent activity is. And then we can do a bit of a show around on how the actual page works.
So here's one where someone's trying to do some Windows 2012 provisioning, and they've had some problems with the answer file. So if we click on this, we can see the original question.
And Bill has answered it.
I was actually gonna answer this one, but that's fine.
So from what I understand, Bill, when I was told about the product groups that were created, a lot of SMEs got together and it was assigned from a different person each globally. So, for example, the UK and EMEA, then you've got guys in the US or guys, girls, and then the same with Asia Pac, really just to answer all the questions. So it's not 24/7 by one person, although a lot of people work long hours. There generally is quite a big community of people answering these questions, and it could be anyone from a product developer to an SME in support. It could be a consultant, product manager. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of internal people that subscribe to these, so either to ask questions of their own or to be able to answer. So there are definitely a lot of customers that respond to other customers' posts, and there's also a lot of internal people that are on there as well.
Yeah, I see. I've recently seen Stefan Kreis from Germany doing a great job. So yeah, customers and partners definitely help each other too. So nobody is a bottleneck. It's a community's energy here.
Yeah. So I saw just a few emails pop in. So I'll probably go to my inbox. And I know we covered this last time, but because I'm already logged in online.
Yeah, it looks like Sean already replied.
Things move fast.
So again, through the inbox. So yeah.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
it's not a setup, right? Sean did it real time. I don't know where we're from today, but he did it real time.
Yeah, exactly. He actually just replied. So yeah, sometimes you get a pretty quick response. Sometimes just depends on who's awake.
Yeah.
There is obviously on the page, if you look where it says unanswered questions, I think the view is that anyone that goes onto the pages, if you do see something you can help with, they do get answered. And like you said, sometimes it's quicker than others.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of interaction from BMC, but also from non-BMC. Stefan, as you mentioned, is a big poster on here. I try and add a few things on if I'm on and I see something I know the answer to. So it's definitely a really useful resource.
Yeah. And I think, Matt, obviously the purpose of communities being set up, we've talked about the history on one-to-one conversations. It might be worthwhile just explaining really where the benefit is. We know personally ourselves, but just for the benefit of customers, on what communities really means and what it allows you to do.
Sure, it's learning from experience of others around the world who have achieved amazing things, who have struggled with issues that some customers may have right now, and they have found answers. So by sharing more, people learn more and achieve faster and bigger successes with their products. So we see it with BladeLogic Server Automation, and as we saw in the products menu, there are all these other product communities going on where the same thing happens.
That's great. Okay, so Mike, do you want to go back to the BladeLogic page? I'm quite keen to get Bill involved in here. He's been a little bit too quiet. What would be really helpful is just really to go through the page. We've talked obviously about creating activity by asking a question. Bill, it'd be great for the users just to understand how you get involved in these pages. I mean, amongst obviously other BMC contacts, and obviously we've got our customers and partners as well. Just typically what you use this page for and how you interact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm typically answering questions. So I actually have it set up so I get notifications from the posts, and then I'll just periodically go through there and try to answer some of the questions that people are posting about the product. So I mean, I'm primarily using it to provide support essentially for the user community. So it's just interacting in that context.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's looking through the unanswered questions, or if I'm following up on stuff that we're interacting, getting logs and looking through errors or something like that.
And that's amongst your day-to-day job, which is when things get escalated to customer engineering, you might be involved in helping to fix customers' issues.
Yeah, I mean, typically what will happen is a lot of times customers will post on the communities, and then they will. So I actually probably rarely actually go to the landing page here. I typically will. I'm accessing it through my email just because I'm usually in that all day. And then I will just go directly into the particular thread where people are asking questions or interacting. So typically, a lot of customers will post on the communities with some issue, and sometimes I can kind of look at it and say, oh, okay, like someone else in engineering or me or somebody needs to look at it. So I'll suggest that they create a support issue, and then I'll go in with support and say, hey, like let's get this information.
That's brilliant. That's something that I was going to go on to as a topic, just to point out that when you have a support issue, if it's very specific to you as a customer, typically people like Bill will actually advise you to open a support issue. But if it starts from the communities, the whole point is the collaboration, that if we can get someone to answer it in the community and it's quicker than open a ticket, naturally we don't want customers having to open issues and wait for a response, because it's very much a reactive one-to-one conversation you're having with an engineer, whereas collaboration, working on a community site, you've got a whole host of people that may be able to answer it. So Bill, that's great to know that you do advise going through the support channel, and equally I have seen support engineers say you might want to open a question within communities, and on a couple of occasions, Mike, I know that we've done that as well. We've advised you to open a question up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's
Excellent.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's kind of sometimes a fine line between what's a support case and what is and what's something for the community. I mean, I think typically the community posts are usually like, I'm trying to do this process. How do I write scripts, or how do I perform this process in Blade Logic or whatever product. Whereas the support issues are typically more like, this is not working, or I'm getting this error message when I'm trying to do this. Like, why isn't that working? So, I mean, sometimes you could go either way, but I mean, that's kind of the line I use. I mean, I like when I started, before I achieved this guru status or whatever, I kind of would have it, and I was in professional services, so I would actually kind of have a shotgun approach where I would post on our community, because we had similar community system with Blade Logic. I would post in the communities. I might open a support ticket, and then I'd probably also email one of our internal services like DistroList to see, if anybody else had run into it and maybe they weren't checking communities or something. So, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. You gotta see who wins the race, I guess. But that's and I've seen that a lot where customers are opening. They create a community thread on something, and then I also see a support ticket come in. Because I work with support a lot, so and I think that's fine. One way or the other, we can get it resolved. But sometimes I can. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you disappeared. I think the main thing, the point that obviously we're trying to make out, we'd rather customers, rather than get stressed out and frustrated because they're not getting a response, we've got two areas where they can collaborate. One is via a support issue, which is very much specific to their issue, and then you've also got the collaboration of using communities. And we provide the advice to help support them.
Yeah, and plus you've got a much wider audience, I think, who are using communities who could also answer.
So before we wrap up, can you go back to the page again for Blade Logic on the product page?
Certainly. Let me just share my screen again.
Something that I think is also quite key, really, just to explain. And Bill, I'm not sure if you've ever created some of this information, but within there you've got under content a lot of white papers and documentation. I get asked a lot by customers when they're opening issues. Again, we're trying to cut down the amount of issues that open. It could be related to a severity 4 or a severity 3 issue that's opened, where they're looking for documentation, basic stuff that can also be found on the community. So quite often or not, I will direct them to go and have a look at the content that is there. And if they can't find anything, again, I would advise them to open up, ask a question on that product page. And I have found that consultants or product developers have responded back and provided the documentation if it's not available. So that's something, Mike, if you want to just show under the content. And Bill, I'm not sure if you've ever created any of that information in there. That is a question for you if you want to answer it. So under content, so where it says overview, and then you've got content.
Yeah, so I'm learning now. Yeah.
And you'll see under there's articles, KB documents or KAs, various different content that's created there, and they can be a combination of either posts or documentation. And I guess I'd probably ask someone that's very technical. Bill, have you ever posted anything in there specifically that are more hard-based documents, white papers?
I probably at one point, not recently. I haven't been writing white papers. I've been too busy. So, yeah, I think support. We typically would work with support and the IDD folks, and they'll if there's any particular issues or that kind of thing. And I know we're trying to get most of the white papers in the docs.bmc.com site, so in the wiki format. Because that makes it a little easier to kind of update and edit. But yeah, I mean, if we have documentation on something, I definitely will link to it if I can.
Okay.
And Mike, on your demo, Mike here, right now you're displaying all content type like blogs and discussions and documents and ideas. Would you mind at the top clicking on the second icon? First is second is document, because I saw that. Like today, John Lendls posted something. I have no idea what it is. Posting some utility that the community can enjoy.
Yeah, I must admit, I saw this one. It looks quite good. It takes a copy of all, if you need to put your server into maintenance mode, so stop all scheduled jobs running. It's a utility, I think, to export all of the scheduled jobs into an XML file and allows you to then delete them, so effectively going in maintenance mode. And then you can import them back in. I mean, I think, as always, with anything pasted on here, it's up to yourself to test them to make sure they work with your environment. I mean, another, I'm surprised you didn't mention it, another really key area of content is the Blade zip kits, because there's an awful lot of community posted sort of packages for deploying software that are available in zip kits. So it might be BMC specific, or it might be Apache, Tomcat, this configuration, and they're posted as zip kits. So if you browse down to that content, I think that'll keep you going for hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the zip kits are sort of, this is sort of the shared content. So scripts or packages or anything like that does something interesting in Blade. And I believe there's similar content for like CLM, and I think some of the other product communities are adopting the same kind of thing.
And just to let you know, I had a call with some product managers from other in other groups within BMC, and many other products are going to follow you guys in this product content strategy. So thanks for leading this initiative.
Yes, I was going to say the final thing I do want to mention is if you click onto people, Mike, I know that if you want to look at who's actually registered to the group, you will see a list of people that have provided content. Bill seems to be winning the score points at the moment of the person that's on communities the most. Partially the reason why, Bill, I did ask you to join the Google Hangout today. You are definitely one of our advocates and certainly enthusiastic about trying to promote this a lot more with customers. So if you have a look there, you'll probably find yourself, Mike, all of the users that are under this particular group. If you ever want to find someone that's from a customer or a BMC contact, this is all exposed and available to you. And I think the biggest benefit that most of my customers, including Atos, said to me is being able to get connected to product managers, SMEs, consultants, developers. It is that collaboration and that social platform that allows you to be able to talk to someone. It's been the biggest benefit. And I'm sure, Mike, you'll agree, you've had a lot of success using communities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I use at least a couple of times a day.
And actually, the example where it says space administrators, those are the guys that own the page. So all of them will be providing the core content and available to you to be able to speak to if you've got any issues or concerns. And every page actually has space administrators. That's correct, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it is, and we are refining things every day, improving things. So, hey, Samantha, thanks a lot. So today we saw the products menu with all the products and suites. We saw searching. We saw, what else? What else? We saw asking a question. We saw looking at a document, and this document allow collaborative authoring and improvement, wiki style kind of thing.
Yeah.
What else did we cover today, Mike?
We briefly mentioned ideas. We didn't cover groups. I feel this is like a test now.
And next time we'll be covering ideas. So we have got another recorded session. I think it's been a very good session today, and I must thank Bill also for participating. Thank you for that. And Mike, again, thank you for your time. This has been very helpful, and we'll set up the next call very soon.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thanks everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.